Hello and welcome you tune into Market Fatafat, the show where we get you all the buzzing stocks and trade on the back of news floor on the technicals. I'm Ankita Saxena and with me is Shrishti Sharma. Before we get started with the show, let's take stock of how the market is shaping up. Shrishti, right now we've turned pretty flat, at least on the Nifty bank. There's not much action coming in. Nifty is also still trading in the red with cuts of 0.2%.
Well, certainly, Ankita, a bit of a downfall, what we have seen at least when it comes to the Nifty 50 side. But other than that, a lot of movers in trade right now. What we are seeing is that the cement pack is catching a bit of a steam. Some of the other global stocks, Tata Motors is also one of the top gainers. But on the flip side, some of these FMCG counters, case in point being HUL and Nestle, those result candidates seem to be a bit under pressure. And add to that list is ICICI Bank, Eicher Motors, Nestle as well. But we can't complain much given the fact that the breadth of the market is looking quite cheerful. And also when we see the advance and decline ratio, that is tilted in the favor of the advances. But don't forget that today is the options expiry as well. So seems like we are in for a muted expiry. Not much of a movement happening after that first half an hour or so. Both the index are trading flat, but on your screen we have seen the broader markets recovering a bit from the day's lowest point, and that's something that we are tracking. And as we speak, Nifty Bank is now turned into the green territory. Let's see whether or not we see some build up happening on that particular index. But with this, let's move on and let's connect with our expert on the show as well as our researcher there. And Ankita, let's start highlighting all the buzzers in trade.
Absolutely, Shrishti. Let's get on board. Ashish Kyal, who's the founder and CEO of Wave Strategy Advisors on the technicals, and from our research team we have Ansh and Rapinder. Hi, good afternoon to all three of you. Let's get started with all the stocks then that are in focus today. First up, let's look at one of the earnings candidate that is expected to report its number. It is from the banking bank, and that is Axis Bank. We are waiting and watching out for the results to come out anytime soon. Let's look at what we are penciling in. Then let's look at the preview. We are expecting the NIIs to see an uptick of 6% on a year-on-year basis, and on a sequential basis there could be an uptick of 1.9%. As far as the PAT is concerned, on a sequential basis we are seeing an uptick of 6%, but on a year-on-year basis there could be a decline of 6.3% on the PAT, coming in at 7,130 crore rupees. Also, if you look at the deposits and advances, on the advances front we are expecting an uptick of 8.7% on a year-on-year basis, and for the deposits we are expecting an uptick of 7.5% on a year-on-year basis. And in terms of the key factors that we'll be watching out for, it's the commentary on the margin. The peers have reported an improved NIMS in Q4, so it's wait and watch whether Axis Bank also improves, reports an improved NIMS, and what is the management commentary on that. We also need to watch out for the loan and the deposit growth outlook that are going to be the key monitorables for Axis Bank. Before the results, right now we did see an uptick coming in on the stock, but right now it has cooled off from the day's highs, but nonetheless trading with gains of 0.3%.
All right. That's about Axis Bank, why this stock is in focus. Definitely one of the result candidates, but a counter where we have already seen a very strong set coming in, and that is Dalmia Bharat. And Ashish, that's the stock that you are tracking at this point in time. The stock has already seen a good upsurge in the past 1 week, I believe. But where do you see the stock headed?
Yes, absolutely. The stock has shown a very sharp rise in the over 1 week, but also in today's session we can clearly see there has been a continuation of the trend from here on as well. The trend remains positive for Dalmia Bharat. I think it can head towards the level of 2050 on the upside. It's breaking out its previous peak levels as well, and on the downside the support for the stock is around 1920.
Moving on then, that's Dalmia Bharat on the charts. But Ravinder, you have also picked up Dalmia Bharat for us on the back of its quarterly results. Tell us, what does the report card look like?
Well, as Dalmia Bharat is in focus, the company has announced its Q4 FY25 number, and the company's reported a largely inline numbers, and revenue and volume growth was strong on quarter-on-quarter basis, and the revenue was above the estimate. And revenue was largely led by strong volume growth despite muted realization, and the volume over pricing strategy being implemented, implying a market share gain. Volume was up by 28% quarter-on-quarter basis, but down 3% year-on-year basis, and the EBITDA per ton stand at rupees 926 per ton in Q4 FY25, which was up by 25% year-on-year basis. So back of this inline Q4 result, stock is up over 3 to 4%.
All right, that's about this particular counter. But other than that, let's move on and let's talk about HUL, because the company has come out with an inline set, but the management commentary is not that great. Though, of course, the company has come out with a volume number of 2% versus the street estimate of 1%. But what the management is highlighting, that the margins could be a bit under pressure, at least in the near term, and they have guided a little lower than what they have guided before. The EBITDA margin will be in the healthy range of 22 to 23%, and they're also highlighting if commodity remains where they are, we'll see volume-led growth. Other than that, they continue to focus on driving the volume-led competitive growth. So that's the take coming in on HUL. The stock is under pressure, almost down 4%.
All right, moving on, HUL on the back of its earnings. Coming to you, Ravinder, you picked up Persistent Systems for us, another earnings candidate, that's in focus today. Take it away. What's the result look like?
Well, as Persistent Systems is in focus, our company has announced a Q4 number, and the dollar revenue was up by 4.2% quarter-on-quarter basis, and net revenue also saw a good uptick of 6% quarter-on-quarter basis, and the PAT also saw a 6% uptick quarter-on-quarter basis from 373 crore to 396 crore, and EBITDA margin has increased from 14.9% to 15.6%. And the if we talk about the order book, then the 517.5 million USD in total contract value and $350 million in annual contract value. And management highlighted in the con call that the company aims to improve margin by 100 basis point with an aspirational goal of 200 to 300 basis point as its target $2 billion revenue by FY27, and the company is working diligently to improve pricing levers to get incremental impact on revenue. So back of this strong Q4 results, stock is up over 1%.
All right, let's go across to Sandeep Kalra, the CEO of Persistent System, to weigh in on the results and what is his outlook for the company going ahead. Let's go across and take a look at what he had to say about it.
So if we look at the overall quarter, let me summarize the results for you, and then I'll go into the segmental growth part of it. So if we look at our Q4 FY25, we delivered revenues of 375.2 million. This is 4.2% sequential quarter and 20.7% year-on-year basis growth. Now, if we look at it from a segmental perspective, healthcare, life sciences, BFSI, and tech, all of these verticals grew. If I look at specifically for the quarter, from a same quarter year-on-year perspective, healthcare, life sciences grew by 33.6%, banking, financial services by 26.6%, and software, high-tech by 9.7% year-on-year. And if I look at a yearly growth rate, healthcare, life sciences was the vertical that grew for the company for full year at about 54%, BFSI 17.8%, and software high-tech 3.7%. So we are seeing an overall, growth from a year-on-year basis. Within the quarter, the two verticals that led were BFSI and high-tech.
All right, moving on, Ashish, the next stock that you are focusing on, and that is Paytm. Help us understand that. How is the technical setup looking like for this one?
Yes, if you look at Paytm, after forming a low around the level of around 670, which was approximately in March mid, it has continued to show a very clear higher high and higher low formation, keeping the overall undertone as on the buy side. The stock is also now breaking above the previous pivot high, and there is a possibility we can see a move towards the level of 970 to 980. So that can be the target level. On the downside, the support of the 10 days moving average comes to around 857. So one can maintain a long position here or initiate a fresh long. For 980 is the target and 857 is the stop loss.
All right, moving on from Paytm on the charts to Tech M, and she has picked out Tech M. It's a counter that will be coming out with its Q4 numbers. Tell us what to expect.
Well, we can expect some mixed sets of numbers. If we talk about dollar revenue, then that is expected to go down by around 1.1%, whereas in CC terms, it is expected to go down by a modest decline of just 0.3%. If we talk in rupee terms, in INR terms, then we can expect a rise of 1.2%. Now, the overall decline in revenue could be because of a weakness in its high-tech vertical and impact from its low-margin deal. Whereas if we talk about margin, then that is expected to improve by around 17 basis points from 10.2% to 10.37% despite of wage hike. Now, the margin improvement could be on the back of a better cost control and operational efficiency. Talking about profitability, that is also expected to improve slightly to around 1,000 crore, which is up by 1.8% sequentially. Apart from this number, there are 4 important key things to watch out for. First is management commentary on overall demand trend and FY26 guidance, and second is the outlook on discretionary IT spending. Third is update on deal pipeline, especially in Gen AI space, and fourth is trend in headcount movement and attrition rate trajectory.
All right, that's about TechM, but moving on to another news flow wherein PM Modi-led central government is going to chair an all-party meeting today at 6 p.m, wherein sources say that the crucial meeting is likely to be headed by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, and in addition, Jammu and Kashmir VM Omar Abdullah has called for an all-party state meeting at 3 p.m. today. Our colleague Sameer Dixit joins in with more details on this one. Sameer, over to you.
Following the big diplomatic strike on Pakistan, now the central government has called in an all-party meeting today that is going to be chaired at 6 p.m. and to be headed by the Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. What we are picking up from our sources that this meeting is also to be attended by S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, J.P. Nadda, who heads the Health Ministry and is also BJP Chief, is also likely to be attended by Amit Shah, Union Home Minister. This all-party meeting, the invite has been sent to all the opposition parties, and it is very likely that the political leaders from the prominent parties, whether it be Congress, Samajwadi Party, NCP, Aam Aadmi Party, they are likely to attend this meet. The primary purpose of this meeting is to get all the political parties on the same page when it comes to give a befitting reply to Pakistan. Sources have informed that the Pahalgam terror strike, the detailed discussion will be done on this particular meet, where the government will apprise all the parties that what led to the terror strike and how the government has retaliated the big decisions taken at the CCS, the Cabinet Committee on Security that held last evening. So the decisions that have been taken, why those decisions have been taken, and what sort of implications it will bring in. So to get the confidence of all the political parties and also to get them on the same page, this meeting has been called in by the central government. But it is not just one meeting. A similar sort of all-party meeting has also been called by Jammu Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah in the state at 3 p.m, where he has invited the political leaders of the political parties, the MPs in the region and other prominent figures of the state, where he will be discussing that what could be the implications of the big decisions that has been taken by the central government and how the tourism is adversely affected and it could be revived. So these are the two important meetings taking place, and which will definitely have an eye from all the citizens of India, from all the political parties, but across the globe they will be looking at that what major outcome comes from these two important meetings.
All right, moving on then, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not shying away from issuing a strong retort against the terrorists that claimed the lives of 26 innocent lives in Kashmir's Pahalgam. India will go to the ends of the earth to identify, track and punish every terrorist. Let's go across and listen in to what he had to say about the terror attack.
Friends, today from the soil of Bihar, I say to the whole world, India will identify, track and punish every terrorist and their backers. We will pursue them to the ends of the earth. India's spirit will never be broken by terrorism. Terrorism will not go unpunished. Every effort will be made to ensure that justice is done. The entire nation is firm in this resolve. Everyone who believes in humanity is with us. I thank the people of various countries and their leaders who have stood with us in this time.
All right, but with this, viewers, it's now time to slip into a very short break in this edition of Market Fatafat. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back with more. Welcome back to Market Fatafat. here on ET Now, and now let's put the spotlight on Nestle India. That company too came out with its numbers, and this time the revenue, EBITDA as well as profit did come in line with the street estimates, while there was a marginal beat when it comes to the margin figure of the company. When it comes to the standalone numbers, then we have seen a jump of 4.5% on the top line of the company. The margin was actually flattish on a YOY basis. 25.2% is what the company clocked in, while in terms of the net profit, we have seen a decline of almost 5% there. In terms of the commentary, the company does register the domestic sales that has crossed 5,200 crore mark, the highest ever in any quarter. That has been supported by a good volume growth. The beverages and the confectionery saw a double-digit growth, is what the company has highlighted. The beverages lead the growth with a strong double-digit, as well as the Maggi has seen a jump, this particular segment, on the back of good volumes. The pet care posted a strong double-digit growth as well. In terms of the commodity outlook, the company is highlighting that the commodity prices continue to be firm for the coffee, while the prices continue to remain stable for the edible oils. So on the back of decent set of numbers, Nestle India is in focus.
All right, moving on then from the to Ravinder, Devyani International is what you've picked out for us. Tell us what is the news flow here?
Well, as Devyani International is in focus, where Devyani International, a prominent player in India's QSR space, has announced the acquisition of controlling stake in Skygate Hospital Private Limited, along with its three brands, that is Biryani by Kilo, Goila Butter Chicken, and the Bhojan. And the company will acquire 80.72% stake in Biryani by Kilo, with the cost of the acquisition is 420 crore, and the acquisition will enable the company to expand its portfolio with wider offering. Post acquisition, Skygate will become a subsidiary of the company, and the proposed acquisition implies an equity value of approx 520 crore of Skygate. And the Skygate operates over 100 outlets across 40 cities, including dine-in and cloud kitchen. So back of this news, stock is up approx 2%.
Alright, that's about Devyani International. Moving on, Ashish, the next stock that you're tracking is Tata Chemicals. Help us understand that. How is the technical setup looking like for this one?
Yes, for Tata Chemicals, if you look at it, the overall trend has been strongly positive, and I think the entire space in the sector is outperforming. Over short term, yes, there is some kind of consolidation that we are witnessing, but I think the stock can eventually move towards the level of around 920 on the upside. It has to break about 800, which is the immediate hurdle, and there is some kind of a profit booking we are seeing today. But if it manages to break about the levels of 880, if it manages to break about 880, we can expect it to go towards the level of 920, 940. On the downside, the support for the stock is going to be around 830 levels.
All right, moving on then from Tata Chemicals to LTIMindtree, an earnings candidate. Ansh, tell us what does the result look like?
Right, so the revenue is up by 1.1% to 9,772 crore, whereas if we talk about CC terms, then that has gone down by around 0.6% sequentially. Also in dollar terms, we are seeing it going down by around 0.7%. But if we talk about profit, then that has given a good jump of 4% from 1,085 crore directly to 1,129 crore. Talking about EBIT, that has also seen a good improvement of 1.2% to 1,345 crore. Margin has been steady at around 13.8%, whereas if we talk about attrition, then that is also steady at around 14.4%. If you see on chart, then the stock was up by around 1% in the morning, but now it has come slightly in red. The stock has also touched its 3-week high level and has gained around 20% from this month low levels.
Alright, that's about LTIMindtree. But with this, viewers, it's once again time to slip into a very short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more.